Today's episode of Running It Back is up and ready for your listening pleasure. A little bit of a delay getting this week's episode up, but as you'll see, well worth it. This week's episode is brought to you by my parking garage. Hey, parking garages don't get enough credit. I park in there and I essentially just forget about my car. Take over parking garage. You're in charge now of safety, protection from weather. And when I wake up in the morning, it's all good. I press a button, a gate opens, I go on with my day. Terrific job. Today on the show, Jackson Banks joins me. You may remember Jackson from a previous episode in which we discussed, what did we discuss? David Lynch movies. We went deep. And as you'll see, he's back. And he is energized. Jackson directed a music video recently. We talk about that. Jackson, as I did not know, talks a little bit about his family life at the beginning of the show. And then we get into the real meat. The meat, that is Frank Zappa. There's a documentary out, recently came out called Zappa, in which we reviewed, we talked about his catalog of music, what he brings to the music industry, what his life ultimately contributed to the music industry and beyond. It was a good talk. And as you'll see, Jackson is just wild. He's a wild man. Know that going in. Hey, by the way, I will be performing stand-up comedy on your Zoom screens coming up on December 19th. I'm on a friend of mine's show. I don't know if he's put these on before. We're going to do a future Running It Back and discuss it. But you can catch me doing live stand-up comedy, and you don't even have to go anywhere. It'll be December 19th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. See me there live. I'll put all the links up. You can follow it. Right now, Running It Back with Jackson Banks and me, Frank Zappa, the documentary, right now. Jackson, you're with me back. Making your glorious return. How are you, man?
I'm better than ever.
Yeah. Hey, catch me up. Last time I talked to you, you were in Utah. Now you're in LA. What have I missed?
Well, in Utah, I was taking a little sabbatical because I had the funds, compliments Uncle Sam. And so I flew out, saw the family, saw the old man for the first time in years, saw a couple of the Sibs for the first time in a couple of years.
How many people are in your family? How many brothers and sisters and do you have?
I'm having 8 children.
There's 8 children in your family?
Hell yeah.
Really? What's the age range?
My oldest sibling is 17 years older than me. So
wow.
They had children consistently. They just had 8 of them. So it was the average gap was like 2 to 3 years. And
I see.
Me, yeah.
Where are you in the order?
I'm the youngest, the baby. I'm the masterpiece. They would have had more, but I was so perfect. They said,
no need to go any further after Jackson.
Yeah, I was just so good, and I just came out of the womb just cracking jokes, talented and funny. I had an eye for composition. I was describing the colors of the womb to my mother in this sort of eloquent manner, and she said, I don't need another child when I have this fucking angel. So,
no one ever considers that when they have a lot of kids. They're like, why are you having a lot of kids? Well, we just haven't got it right yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they do it. They were looking for the perfect thing, and then they got me, I got marital aids on the wall. I got this delicious marionette.
Where are you? You're in your room here in LA where you live?
This is my room / studio.
What kind of, all our rooms have turned into / studios the last few months.
Well, we actually have a little home studio. I'd like to advertise a business proposition.
All right. Yeah, give us a little tour. What's going on
We
there?
have a little studio we're building in here, and you can buy airtime in here, baby. Look at that gear. That's professional grade. Only I know how to use. What's that? A green screen? So you want to call me and get a little studio time, you know?
Wow. Jackson Banks Enterprises.
You don't, yeah, yeah. Jackson Banks Enterprises. What was I thought of a good company name earlier. I don't know. J-Bone Deluxe Audio Recording.
J-Bone Deluxe Audio. Okay, put that one in the pile.
Globotron Fascism Exports. That's the name of my media empire that I'm more of a propaganda minister. I've been reaching out to various regimes in the Middle East and South America. Not good with
what about 17 Kids Gets It Right Productions?
Yeah, you know what? You insult my mother again and her beautiful womb. We're gonna kill you. Where are you based right now?
It was more of a compliment of your mother's womb. Take it in the spirit in which it was intended.
If you total it, I had 2 step sets of 5. So yeah, it's 28 kids.
Wow. Forget production studio. You have a production crew on your hands, untapped.
Well, we're mainly estranged.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that can happen. That's a lot of kids. You get a lot of personalities.
Yeah.
How about on the walls? What's going on in your walls?
Oh yeah, I dreaded this. Well, we'll start with the light stuff. So we got some prompts. We got Boba Fett. We got Jesus. I like to hang my hat on him. Done by my mother. One of my first films, Cheddar Cats. That's an original watercolor by Bonita Louise Ingram. Check that out. This is actually my most prized possession. This is the original Camp Jackie action figure. The penis switches out for a machine gun, a chainsaw, a Supreme Court mallet. You getting a good look here?
Yeah, I got a good look at it.
I got
so
a bigger.
You can change what? You can change the penis to a machine gun?
Yeah, you switch it out.
What's that action figure too?
Huh?
Where is that from though?
It's custom. There's a guy named Rainbow Yon who does custom toys in the UK, and he shipped it over from London or some. I don't know what that fog breather's up to. I'm just kidding, Rainbow. I don't use slangs. Yeah, he's a genius. He also made this delicious.
I noticed you gave your action figure a bit of bulk there. Your action figure looks quite swole.
Well, I've been bulking up. Look at that beauty. Daddy, love you. You're gonna cut this down, right?
Oh no, I'm gonna lengthen it. Some people cut their zooms down. I find ways to lengthen the zoom.
Daddy.
Right.
Daddy. So this is the most freakish part. Look at that look, it's Supreme Leader. I'm never taking him down.
Let's take a look at that.
So the story behind this beauty. So I was at a white elephant gift party with some Satanists, and I brought like a can of tuna because I was like, you can bring anything. I brought like a can of tuna as a joke, and everyone, but I still had an equal opportunity to get any gift. And I saw this wrapped up, and I was like, I want the biggest one. I'm gonna get the biggest one. And in the beautiful poetry, I open it up, and it's fucking Trump. And it's perfect because he too would say, I want the biggest one. You know what I mean? So it was like looking in the mirror when I opened it up. And they gave me like a fake news, a thing you press the button and it goes, totally fake news. So I'm bringing it back to my car, like trying to hide that I have a giant like Trump portrait, and I'm accidentally pressing the button against myself. So it's fake news, totally fake news, walking down, West Hollywood. We got fake, but
look at that portrait.
Yeah, I put him up. I didn't know how to store it, so I just hung it up and covered his face.
Well, I think it matches the overall aesthetic that you got going in this room, though.
Yeah, a freak show, a hypersexualized action figure collection. There's a little prop, Ken doll. He explodes in the vid when his parents become divorced. He splits down the middle.
All right.
Certainly not insight about my life. But yeah, we don't have to take the full tour, baby. We can cut it down now. We got some records. We got a marital aid here. making a film where two guys have a little love triangle with his puppy, you know? Jealousy, romance, it's what I live for.
So much drama going on in this room. This has been quite the behind the curtains Jackson Banks room.
Yeah, it's what you call a bit of pussy repellent, but you know, I love what I do. I love what I am. No, it's chill.
That's what the ladies ultimately want, though. You don't dismiss that. You want to
no,
do what you love to do.
yeah, but there's a certain level of commitment. It's not like I'm bringing ladies over every day. It is, you know, but there's a certain level of like this is a freak show. So it has to be a girl that like gets uh you know that you know the weird art shit, which some don't. I mean, that's fine.
I understand that. Last time, I got a question for you. I think I saw you on the street last week.
Did you know?
I
Why
was
didn't
Well, I was driving. Tell me if this was you. You have a unique look. So this is why I was like, that's Jackson. You were in somebody's lawn with a girl who had red hair, and I drove past and I was like, that's Jackson. I gotta ask him about it. Was that you that I saw? It
during the day?
was during the day.
Because I was with a ginger recently, but not during the day. Hey, I'm
No,
kidding.
this was during the day. You were on like an apartment complex's lawn. It's like you two were like walking around waiting to be let in to the building or something. This was maybe a week or two ago.
Walking around waiting to be let in. I'm scanning.
And you were with a girl that had red hair or pink hair.
Pink hair. Pink hair. What does she look like?
I don't know. I didn't get a good look at her. I was in my car.
I think I would have remembered if I was hanging out with any woman at all. But
I swear maybe it wasn't you, but it looked like you. It would have been in Burbank.
Burbank.
Not ringing a bell to you. I swear it was you.
There is a redhead that I know who lives in Burbank, but there was never any time that we've been trying to bust into a place together.
Well, I don't know if you were trying to bust into a place. You were just in front of an apartment walking around. It looked like you were waiting for someone to let you in, but I don't know. I was just driving by.
Future self, and I'm, you know,
This is not ringing a bell. This is not making any. But you know someone who has red hair. You're saying
that was my future wife.
Oh, okay.
In the future, because remember I said I'm better than ever. That's ever my bitch ex-wife, but in that timeline, she is my future wife. She's actually my ex now.
So she's gonna be your wife, and then gonna be your ex-wife in the future.
He's gonna. So we got married this summer. I dumped her because she was trying to, you know, she was touching my stuff. She was trying to clean up. There's a very specific order to all of this. And she was touching it, trying to spruce the place up. I said, you need to get the fuck out of here. I put her out the window. That was my past self. But we did travel through time. And I think we landed December 5th in Burbank. And we were trying to bust into, trying to score a little bit of tweak. But no, I don't think it was me, buddy.
You don't think it was you, but what you're saying, you don't think it was you, but you know a girl who has the same hair I described.
That's my past self from the future that you saw.
Oh.
Actually, we didn't time travel. That was us a week ago. We were divorced yesterday.
Oh, so you were still in, when I saw you, maybe this was maybe you guys were in good terms mode.
I miss her so much.
Get her, call her in, go find her on that Burbank lawn.
I'm gonna get her back. Me.
You have a music video.
I did.
Tell me about that.
Videos. Actually, I'm working on a third, so I'm in a band. No big deal. As a vocalist, we're working on that. You're referring to Big Bolivian Butt, which was just to critical acclaim. That we can start there, and that would be the third music video I've directed.
Where did the idea for Big Bolivian Butt
come from? there's a young artist named Little Baby J who's very funny and talented. And she hired me. Well, we met on Tinder. And when we met and became clear that we would become platonic friends, we just had that sort of chemistry of let's just be friends immediately. You know what I'm saying? Um, no, she's great. And she started making some music and she hired me. She paid my rent in exchange for a few videos a year and a half ago. My roommate abruptly moved back to the UK. I became homeless. I crashed in the guest studio apartment of her parents' mansion in the hills for about 3 weeks. The video was not finished. So it's a legacy. I just barely finished it. And it's a real beauty, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I watched it. There's a lot going on in that video.
What was your favorite part?
Let's see. Well, my first question about the video. Well, my favorite part is because you have a lot of people in it.
Yes.
There's one guy in it, but I think it's just a clip, and he has a surprised look on his face. Where you sort of like flash to him. That was probably the funniest part, I thought, because I didn't see it coming. How many like different locations?
Wait, the surprise guy? You're
I
talking about
think there's
me?
no, not you. You're in it. You're in it when you turn your head from like you're looking at a globe.
I'm making out with the nation of Bolivia.
Oh, okay. I didn't know your mouth was actually on the Bolivia part of the globe.
I took I took special care to make sure you could read the Bolivian text before the lips met the globe. You try and make nice things, nobody gives a shit. I'm kidding.
Next thing you know, you're on the lawn of a Burbank in Burbank. You don't even remember it.
Next thing you know, I'm with my future wife, deprived of the beautiful big Bolivian butt that I pined for. My muse was the butt.
So why? So she wanted to make a music video about a big Bolivian butt. That's what the music video is about.
She's a music. She has other songs as well. She makes comedy
Oh,
music,
sure.
also kind of pop. You know, um, but yeah, that was her single. Was big Bolivian butt, but it's great. I always enjoyed her music quite a bit. So I took it
It's
upon
out there
myself.
now. I watched it.
I took it upon myself to make the video in exchange for funds, and that's what I did.
Yeah, we created something pretty out there. It's pretty entertaining though. You got to watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's interesting
It's a
because
fun watch, as you if I might say.
I had finished it like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, just to like get it done, and she showed it at like an art gallery, and then they were like, "Hey, can you touch it up?" Just a couple weeks ago, and then I sat down and I just like effortlessly crushed it. You know what I mean? I just like I don't know if I'm like a better editor now or I'm in a better space mentally, but I just fucking I effortlessly took the bud into a psychedelic wonderland. You know what I mean? And I just want all the ladies out there to know that I can make you a star the same as I did this bud. You know what I mean? With no added strings attached to the stardom. I'm kidding around. It would be a totally platonic interaction, and I require money in the transaction.
Well, you are a professional. Hey,
Yeah.
is there going to be a follow-up to Big Bolivian Butt? Because if there is, I have a suggestion.
Yes.
What about Eastern European upper lip?
The hairy one?
Potentially. It's up to you. It's you as the artist to take it and create from there.
I don't know. Yeah, it could be open with a dude on safari in the woods, and he's chomping through the jungle, and then we pull out, and it's on the upper lip. You know what I mean? And
Of an elderly Eastern European lady. That's what I see in my head. That's my vision.
Yeah. Societies rise up, they fall.
Ooh, and then keep cutting to black and white war-torn footage.
Yeah.
That's how I see it going. Yeah, it's a very kind of downtrodden video, the way I'm seeing.
Yeah. Eastern European, does the sun even come out there? It's all moonlight there, right? In Eastern Europe. That's why they have vampires and shit.
Yeah, I think so.
They've never seen the sun. And I'm not a bigot. I'm just stating the science that they don't get sunlight there.
I think we're all on solid ground on this one.
Yeah. I think we're off to a great start. There were
Yeah.
various things I'll need you to cut out, like when I winked and said, just friends, you know what I mean? And when I said, a totally platonic interaction, and I winked. Anytime I wink, I need you to destroy the sentence that came before it.
Understood.
Okay, I'm serious now. You anything where I wink, that means delete.
It's gone.
No, but not okay.
People are like, what just happened?
Yeah. A lot of hard cutting. Intermissions, like 7 intermissions.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That's what our music video needs, an intermission. No
yeah,
music videos have intermissions.
it will because the video itself will be 4 hours long. It'll be the
Mm.
Lord of the Rings of pop songs.
Can we still call it a music video if it's 4 hours long?
Yeah,
Huh.
any song can be any length, so any video pertaining to that song can be whatever length that you choose. Choose.
Where does a music video go these days? Are music videos played on any television anymore? It's got to go straight up
I
online type of thing.
online. I think music videos go to YouTube. I think that's where they go. At least that's in my experience. When the new King Gizzard record is out, I I go to YouTube. You know what I mean? That's where they throw the stuff up. Oh, sorry. I'm just looking
Gotcha.
up this music video about pimple popping that I also directed.
Oh, you
Notice.
got a music video on pimple popping.
Yeah. It's quite good. She's quite talented. She's quite
Who,
funny.
the person popping the pimples or the
Yeah,
singer?
she has a fetish for popping pimples, and she asked
Mm.
me to make a rap video about it.
Is there actual pimple popping going on in the video?
Yeah, behind her.
Oh,
Check it out.
gotcha. Okay, because I could get into that because it's so satisfying when the
Yeah,
pimple gets
right
popped.
behind her. Look at these
Gotcha.
loads getting squoze out behind her.
Mm. Oh, I'm seeing it now. I'm getting the vision. Oh, it's some synchronized dancing going on in a
Yeah,
park.
I haven't watched this in a long time.
Ooh. Yeah, there was a close up.
Yeah, I think we fucked up the color grading on this one. I kind of feel bad, but these things happen. The final upload, it's a dangerous thing. It's a treacherous thing. That's what it is.
Yes. Well, the last time we talked, we did a deep dive on David
Well,
Lynch film.
my favorite film.
Yep. But this time, we're going a little deep dive on Frank Zappa.
Yeah, I think I just have to be honest with myself and say he's my favorite musician. Captain
Yeah.
Beefheart will always be my guy deep in my heart, you know what I mean? But as far as most plays, you know what I mean? If you're going by most plays, it's Zappa.
Gotcha. Well, I was thinking Zappa, and knowing you, I was like, this makes sense. Jackie he'd be into Zappa.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of the qualities I think, yeah, you would be down with, you would enjoy. But here then sort of my next question. Where do you stand on Weird Al Yankovic?
Um, I appreciate him. He was in one of my movies.
Really?
I mean, he was in Goya Hunters, yeah, where Jewish mercenaries hunt down men who try and appropriate Jewish culture for their own ends. Weird Al is the main antagonist of that film.
I gotcha. I always
Jewish. He's not Jewish. Don't.
Mm.
I didn't. That was a real week. Don't delete that one. But yeah,
Okay, I'll keep it in.
Al Yankovic, because Zappa is kind of proto Weird Al in a way.
Yeah, I see some similarities.
The music is funny and the hair, and there is sort of a corniness to both of their vocal aesthetics. You know what I mean? I kind of sometimes jokingly refer to Zappa as Weird Al for adults because he's just as corny, but the music is all original and it goes way further out.
Yeah, I see the similarities, and Weird Al, I don't know if Weird Al is a genius or a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, well, that's
I've been asking this question for over 15 years, because then you hear Weird Al's history and you hear that he's a really brilliant guy. He like graduates college at 16 years old. He's
Yeah.
very, very smart. And then you hear a song he wrote about lasagna. So it trips out your brain. You're like, is this guy the smartest guy in the world, or is he a child? And and I'll cut to the chase. You never figure it out.
Well, but you also have to understand, I hate to be the guy that be like, would have made money, but that, that song, you know what I mean? He's achieved an insane amount of success, you know what I mean?
Oh
There,
yeah. Oh, I didn't say it wasn't successful. I'm just trying to. I just
I
can't
know,
figure
but
this guy out.
I'm saying I don't think that it's bad. I don't think that Weird Al is bad. You know what I mean? I think there's something very earnest about his humor that, and sort of universal in that, there's good entertainment for young people and there's bad entertainment. I'd put Weird Al in the good category because
I would too.
it's fairly cerebral. I don't want to call it children's entertainment, but it's definitely designed in a way that young people can get into it. So many young people, their first musical like God was Weird Al because they were searching for something a little more avant-garde and a little more out there. And Weird Al was the guy they could listen to under their parents, iron fist and roof, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
excellent parody, satire,
yeah, yeah.
and production too. Everything works in his favor. It's so yeah, it's great. And then you hear this guy is a genius. So it's funny. Yeah, it's a weird argument you'll have with your own self for a long time.
No, I think he is undoubtedly a genius. I think
Undoubtedly. Yeah. Just
yeah.
scholastically, there's
Scho-
no doubt about it.
no,
Guy like
no,
graduated college at 16.
beyond scholastically, I don't think anyone could. I don't think everyone can do what Weird Al does. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
You'll not disrespect him. But yeah, I do think that Zappa is a superior musical force uh, by a considerable measure. Funny thing, Weird Al's song "Genius in France" was his tribute to Zappa, where basically the notes and stuff are designed to sound like one of his orchestral rock, and Zappa did a lot of Weird Al-esque stuff too, where he would emulate obviously a lot of different musical styles, but he would also do it in a form of mockery. The biggest example being he does like a Doors-esque riff on if on it's on the album uh You Are What You Is. If only she woulda. It's like a Doors groovy riff. I don't know if are you gonna like cut in with music when we describe it?
Maybe I could do that. I've done that in the past. Well, the
I think with this, if we don't, it might get dull. You know what I mean? You got to be able to cut in with. See, it's the Doors, but it's not. He's
gotcha, I hear it.
mocking them, and I don't know if he's appreciating them or if he's saying, "Look how easy it is to play this kind of music." Because he took shots at Carlos Santana as well, and he wrote a guitar solo song called "The Carlos Santana Experience" or something, to just show how easy it was for him to hit these notes that Santana was like worshipped for. You know what I mean? So whether it's
Yeah.
tribute or mockery, yeah, he definitely took the piss out of lots of folks.
Well, the documentary is out now.
Yes.
That I mean, you suggested it to me. I didn't necessarily know, and I know of Frank Zappa, but I didn't know the deep stuff. So I was like, "Oh, perfect! I can check this out." Zappa, directed by Alex Winter,
Yeah.
who also directed one called Showbiz Kids that I found that was really good too.
Was it about
So
5 minutes?
yeah, it's about child actors who are popular as children, and then it follows their lives post
That is
stardom and
probably
things like that.
worse than I don't know. I just the being a child actor sounds completely fucked up.
Yeah, it goes pretty deep. It's a good story. It's a good
I mean,
documentary of it.
it's got to do a number on you to be beloved from your first memories, and then abruptly people are like, "Why'd you grow up, you freak?" You know what I mean?
Whoa,
Because
who are you to just grow up?
it's sort of even more perverse like magnification of because like there's the classic a young woman or anyone in Hollywood who is valued for their sex appeal when they age, you know what I mean, and their career is based on that, it's done. And in a weird, I mean, maybe it would work if you would say that the kid child sex appeal is gone. We're talking about Hollywood here, so it could happen. There's definitely a producer who's like, he turned 13, he's not hot anymore.
That kid was something back in the day.
Yeah, but now got all
Well,
this hair.
I watched the documentary, and I sort of broke it down, and there was early Frank Zappa, there was career Frank Zappa, and then there was late Frank Zappa. And it's so broad. There's so much to go into with them.
Yeah,
and I thought that the doc was good in the sense that like you could follow along and you could sort of stay locked in to everything that was going on in his life, because it's so dense. There's so much going on there. What was your favorite part of the documentary?
All right, just to clarify, gem this sentence into the last part. So you'll do some editing. You're gonna take this and put it in the last conversation we had, okay?
So this is going into the last, you're saying?
Yeah, the point that I made where I ended with the pedophilia joke, I was trying to just say that it's a weird magnification of once somebody ages in Hollywood, they're disposed of. You know what I mean?
I was thinking of opening with that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's open
it with it.
With the pedophilia.
Nobody does a pedophilia pod.
Let's mock Corey Feldman for everything he's been through and then talk about exactly.
This will go perfectly after my new NFL podcast for gay men called Helmet to Helmet.
For real? Are you gonna do it?
I think no, that was just off the cuff. But hey, we could start it right now as soon as I finish this.
I'll do helmet to helmet. I know nothing about sports, and you can take
helmet to helmet. That's right. The NFL podcast for gay men.
Yeah, well, it's in the plot about You and Me. It's about an older athletic gay man who takes a young twink under his wing and teaches him about sports in exchange for the transaction of touching tips every night. Sound good?
Write that down. Hello, new music video.
Hello, new music video. So back to the documentary.
Oh yeah, back to it. What was your favorite part of the doc?
It's hard to say. I mean, the strongest part, I guess that my favorite part would be that hook, because I don't know if he was necessarily known in America for the Czech Republic thing, but I guess how they open and close with him being like such a legend in the Czech Republic simply because cops were trying to think of an outrageous, rebellious rocker and said, don't play the Frank Zappa music. You know what I mean? Because they hook you with him playing in the Czech Republic to like this amphitheater. And then they bait with that and then they pay it off. I had never heard that story. That was new to me. Also,
that was excellent. Yeah, that was a good sort of storyline where the Czech Republic really took to Zappa.
Yeah, because he was because it's weird because he actually was that dude. It wasn't like a misplaced worship. He was an extremely individualistic, like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, like kind of guy, like to his deathbed. So it wasn't an inauthentic worship. It wasn't just like a mistaken identity. It was like he did.
Yeah, it wasn't like a David Hasselhoff with Germany thing where we're kind of like, oh, that's weird. You guys like him? Why? With Zappa, it made sense that they were like, this was the time of their kind of freedom pursuit, and he was an example of that. So it made sense.
Yeah, no, he was definitely he was one of a kind. I was relieved. A lot of the stuff he said about artistic expression and art versus commerce, I agree with, like, to a T. You know what I mean? Where, not valuing art by how many copies it sells, especially in Hollywood, where it's like people are really locked into, like, if you're not making it, there's no reason to do it if you're not getting a certain amount. You know what I mean? Even in the struggling artist, there's an idea of success is the goal rather than the best artistic expression you could possibly make. I'm an art first kind of guy, I'm a sensitive soul. I'm a bleeding heart,
I hear you.
Yeah.
I like the footage that they had alone. The old footage was A+ for me. The old Hollywood footage, the black and white behind the scenes New York footage.
Great.
Awesome. Awesome for just like how different everybody looked in the 70s, where everybody has long hair and a mustache,
Yeah,
regardless. And then also, the smoking. I forget how much smoking used to happen in the old days. He
yeah,
must is in the documentary alone. Frank Zappa must go through 500 cigarettes just in the documentary footage alone. So
yeah.
I got a kick out of that. I liked it. It took me back.
He might have lived a little longer. There's a great moment when he's like on his deathbed from cancer, and the not in the documentary, but in the full interview, she's like, why do you still smoke cigarettes if you have cancer? And he goes, to me, a cigarette is food. Tobacco is my favorite vegetable. Like he was super anti-drug, but very, very much addicted to cigarettes.
I read that too because this is 60s, 70s on. He's doing, I guess you could say psychedelic esque music. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, he's got to have a drug period in here. And from all my research, he was
Nope.
pretty anti drug throughout his whole career beyond, I mean, cigarettes, but no drugs from,
He
so very unique.
he mentions once in an interview that he was too stoned to express himself at one point. I mean, I'm sure he experimented here and there, and I think that he concluded, because his music is so precise and so intense and so demanding, I think that he tried to write his music on drugs, and it didn't take, and he just wrote it off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually my favorite like mascot for sobriety. You know what I mean? The fact that he's that creative and that propulsive in his craft, and he's totally drug free. I mean, he's wired to the bone with nicotine, but you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? The nicotine is not giving him the inspiration. It may be giving him some of the tension that comes to his music, but yeah, he's always the guy where it's like, I'm gonna get sober like that, and then there's something to be said for it. But and I will be conducting an experiment midway through. I will be taking a hit of this marijuana pipe, and we'll see if my performance gets better or worse. This is my podcast pipe, so if I feel like I'm being a bore, I'll take a big old rip in the name of entertainment.
Sounds
Um,
fair.
do I need it? Am I pleasing you?
It's
Do I need
it's
this?
not like me to stifle the artist, Jackson Banks.
Am I pleasing you? Do I need to hit this?
Yes. I had question number two. What anything you felt they left out in the
Um,
documentary?
yeah, the thing that comes to mind is his interactions with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Who follows me on Twitter? It's no big deal. Um,
Yoko Ono follows you on Twitter?
he does, yeah.
What do you mean he does?
She does.
She does.
We made love. No, there was some tweet I made years ago. I don't use Twitter very often. I'm not super interested in. I'm all about those visuals, baby. But I said like my new door really ties the room together, and she liked it, and spoke to her
Mm.
sensibility. We were married that fall, and it didn't work out, but I still call her every month and say, Yoko, I need my daddy needs Yoko Puff cereals. You know what I mean? Cuckoo for Yoko. I'm loco for Yoko Puffs, I say. And I say, I need your body, and I need your soul.
And then
Um,
she wrote a tweet back to you just in all scream emojis.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She went,
Mhm. Yeah, I'm
um,
familiar with Yoko's work.
and that meant me too. But the thing that, so apparently he performed with Yoko and John in a live album they did in New York, and and they did some of Zappa songs, or at least one of them is on the album, and they gave Yoko and John writing and publishing credit. They didn't
Mm.
credit Zappa when they put the album out, so Zappa was pretty furious about that. That is one detail they left out.
Mm.
Mhm.
I was so I or the one thing I thought they touched upon that I really wanted to hear more of was his relationship with his kids. They
Yeah,
they went a little bit with it, and of course it leads into the song Valley Girl, where his
yeah,
daughter is on the track, and then they led into it with her slipping him a note. Hi
yeah.
dad, I'm Moon. I live in the house with you, remember? So I wanted to know, and then the kids aren't in the documentary.
I thought they were
Uh,
in it quite a bit. It showed a lot of footage
it
with him.
showed they're not interviewed, but there's clips of
Um,
them from of the time. I mean, it's obvious he didn't have a good relationship with him, but I wanted to know, like, what was he like as a man? Like, he obviously wasn't there, but what were your
He,
interactions with him?
I think they kind of spelled it out that he didn't just see them that much, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the bonding moment with her dad was her asking to sing on one of his records because she knew even at 13 or whatever, that was the only way she would get to spend any time with him because he was constantly recording. It's insane
Yeah.
in the interview where he has prostate cancer and he's like, I don't get any work done anymore. And she was like, it slowed you down. And he goes, I can go 9:30 to 6:30 on a good
Right,
day.
right. He's like, a good day is I go 9:30 to 6:30.
Yeah, he was fucking that dude. He's an inspiration, and there's no excuse to not work that hard if you're an artist. You know, I like to think of myself as a prolific young man, but I gotta up the ante if I'm to be like Daddy Zab. But
True slave to his work, absolutely. I think that was well documented in the film that he was tireless, just beyond work ethic. I liked when he in the 80s he bought a machine where he could compose all the different instruments on his own, but it's
yeah,
1980s technology. So you're like, come on, man, you're not gonna make anything good with that. But it's the best we had at the time.
yeah, that's my least favorite Zappa period is the Synclavier. But I appreciate it as him just being like, I just want to zone in and do my thing, and it's I mean it's just as beautiful as his other stuff, but there some texture is lost because it's like, and I mean it just throws you just because the technology was so new and it's so dated now that it sounds cheesy by today's standards. But if he had gotten a hold of like producing equipment, modern producing equipment, just imagine. I mean, think about what Kanye does. It would be, on that level and far beyond what
Yeah.
he would have achieved.
And then I would be curious to know how it was judged for the time. Was this good because now we have it because we know perspective. So what are we going to think is cheesy in 20 years from now? That's cool now, sort of thing. So that I sort of wonder, but it was interesting that he's like, well, I can just do this all on my own now. So now I'm going to dive into this. What
Yeah,
um what do
I
you
think
think Frank Zappa's biggest contribution was?
his music. You mean beyond just like that he made just
Yeah.
a mountain of fucking brilliant, beautiful music?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that,
Oh, whatever you think it is. Yeah, the
yeah,
music overall
he
is his contribution.
he just contributed vast quantities of gorgeous music. That and he was totally like outspoken and um and that message is consistent throughout all of his music. That
Mhm.
he's totally individualistic, but
The
that
catalog of music is beyond impressive. You're right. It's so much and it's so broad too. I thought the contribution for me though at the end of it was the fight against censorship. Though the fact that he was an artist making completely unique music and then
yeah.
it comes full circle and then he fights for the next sort of generation of music to not be censored. I thought that was a great tie-in to the man himself. The sense
Yeah,
that like he cuts his hair, he goes in front of Congress, he meets them on their terms, and he
yeah.
gets stuff done. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. I think I didn't realize. I always had assumed in those interviews that they were coming after him and his music because his music is known for like its crassness, but they were coming after other artists, and he was defending them.
He was fight. Yeah, it was really kind of an all for one. He's fighting on the behalf of all artists.
Yeah.
I did
Um,
like that.
yeah, his view on art and why a person does it. I totally agree with his philosophy of you do it because you want to do it, you want to see it, you want to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he did give some compromise where he senses like, all right, no censorship, but fine, we'll print the lyrics on album covers. Parents can look at it and read it, but don't change anything. So it was a good give and take, I thought, overall.
Yeah, and that I believe in censorship as information as well. You know what I mean? Where it's like you don't have to watch it, you don't have to listen to it, but you have every right to know what it is before you look at it. Especially now that the phenomenon of triggering is a thing that's more is more um acknowledged and known that someone can see an image, listen to a thing, and maybe have a flashback to it, to trauma. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
they have
Yeah.
every right to have a warning that like this contains this kind of material, so they can not consume it. And yeah, but no art should ever not be made because you don't want it to be made. That's every human being's right, is the freedom of expression.
Yeah, I think that's well stated. I'm a fan of no art should be censored. All art can be criticized.
Yeah,
So I say, yeah, everything is open towards critical thought, and nothing should be censored. Let it
yeah.
be, and let it be judged by
The big
the
criticism,
public.
it'll
Yeah.
be
Here's
universally.
I got I'll take you through my early career and late notes. You jump
Yeah,
in
love it.
uh with my thoughts here. Here's the first thing in the early Zappa life. I was surprised that his real name is Zappa. I just assumed he changed it, but his
Yeah,
real last name is Zappa.
this is
Uh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it was like a stage name.
because it sounds like his music. It's
It does.
Zappa.
It fits his. He's got the button down suburban first name, and then the crazy last name. Perfect combination.
His name is Frank. You know what I mean? He's a
Frank.
very, he was a very frank man.
It was
It's
Frank.
Yeah, yeah. Now that you say it, his first and last name perfectly illustrates his art because it was frank in the lyricism. His opinions were always like pretty hard hitting and pretty ruthless and pretty brutally honest from his perspective. And the music had that zany, you know what I mean? It was always pushing, sonically. So good catch.
Um, Next note, started in the suburbs of Los Angeles,
Yeah.
began performing in Hollywood, doesn't
Mhm.
really gain any notoriety until he moves to New York. It's so weird that we kind of, sometimes you move from one precipice of like art to another and then it catches. So it's kind of, yeah, I thought that was interesting. He had to get out of Hollywood to get some
Shoot.
notice where he really became known.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the old NYC. I mean, I love LA as like a piece of inspiration, but there is a certain appearances are so important. So to be like a balls out art freak, there are plenty of them in LA, but that's not ultimately what is celebrated in LA as the precipice of culture. The precipice of culture in LA is being somebody and doing something, you know. Whereas in art, I think there is more of a balls out art freak celebration. I mean, there is in LA, but there are certain like gears that drive both cities artistically.
His first band, Mothers of Invention, I loved the not only was music, but costumes, theatrics on stage, a
Yeah,
lot of thought into album covers. I had a friend in college, and imagine if you took Frank Zappa, but eliminated all the talent. That's what my friend did. He had a band. He'd be like, come check out our band. We got an accordion. I'd be like, oh, cool. I'm going to see a cool band. And I would go to a show and it was chaos. They would all dress up in Speedos. They would be wearing a sailor's hat. They had a
like
paper mache octopus, and none of them could play instruments. But it was like a whole show to them. And I'm watching Frank Zappa. I was like, imagine if this dude did all that crazy stuff, but could actually play and compose great music. Now I get it. I wonder if that dude drew some inspiration from Frank Zappa back in the early 2000s.
definitely, definitely.
Then,
Every freak.
oh, go ahead.
What'd you say? I was just gonna say every freak owes him something, you know? Freak.
He really ruined it for avant-garde freaks because Frank Zappa had talent. He had lyrics. He had the ability to compose. He could play instruments. So you couldn't just say like, nah, that was just punk rock. They could really play. He was just weird. No, Frank Zappa did everything to the
Yeah,
T, to 100%. He
yeah.
ruined it for all the freaks.
I don't
Now
know
that
how much
actually,
he ruined it. I think he gave the freak kingdom, freedom to flourish. I mean, few people have his genius. And I guess that is coming back to the anti-drug thing. You have to wonder, would his music have stayed good if he had, gotten far out with LSD, etc. I think so. I mean, there are plenty of musicians who get far out with LSD and still make beautiful shit that's
Hmm.
almost
That's
Zappa.
very true. Yeah,
Like
Beatles is a good example of that.
yeah, one of my favorite bands, Gong, is this psychedelic rock band that's gets pretty orchestral, and there's flutes and guitar and brass, and it's pretty. The dude is very openly very very into acid, and his music is pretty perfectly composed and beautiful. So
Hmm.
I mean, there's no right or wrong way to make you rock music, you know. So
Um, Going through his catalog, ironically, Frank Zappa never has a hit single until Valley Girl in 1983 gets to number 32 on the charts, which is ironically a little more on the poppy side, and then doesn't make any more kind of sounding records of that at all. So,
yeah,
and then they say it in the documentary that I don't think Frank wanted a hit. He wanted to just do his thing.
I relate to that a lot, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a loser. Um, I I definitely relate to, like, because if you on that level of like pop chart success or mainstream whatever, there's a fan base that now you are kind of beholden to. You know what I mean? In order to sustain that level of success, you have to give people what they want from you.
Hmm.
He had no interest in that. He wanted to, yeah, his artistic philosophy of I want to make exactly what I want to make, and if you like it, that's great, and then move on. You know what I mean? I just think every artist should behave that way. They should please themselves with honesty and make the best thing they can do from their own perspective, and that will find people that understand it or what have you.
His late life, he composed and released four more albums.
Yeah,
1986, he released Jazz from Hell, earned his first Grammy for Best Instrumental Rock Performance. 1990, diagnosed with prostate cancer and died in 92. So, and then several albums and music released post his post life as well. So,
oh, he
um,
was
died at
93.
52, a really shortened life, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, life's over after 50 anyway. He had it right. He might as well check out.
Check out. So you were fine with like, I better check out.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't have prostate cancer. He bit down on some cyanide. Once
He's like he tapped out, kind of like a sailor just going out to sea. Like just let him
yeah,
go.
yeah, he went surfing like in Point Break with his sing. Um,
This
yeah,
pod could turn into a Point Break breakdown very easily. We're on the shallow, thin ice right now. We
yeah.
could go deep into Point Break.
It's interesting. Yeah, he was very young. He was surprisingly young. Same with like Bill Hicks, with those dudes that go hard. They feel like I wonder if it's maybe something in them deep down. Maybe they know they don't have a lot of time. They both had cancer. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's something in the lifespan of a person genetically disposed to cancer. There's some genetic knowledge that time is limited. There's some
Yeah,
knowledge.
that's interesting. Maybe his full life was 52 years. Maybe that's what the destiny actually was. Sad that he is gone very quickly. 52 is not old.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he could still be alive today. I'd be interested. I don't know. I feel like because there's some, there's sort of the fear of like, oh, would he actually have flipped and gone conservative in his old age? Because a lot of dudes
Sure,
who are,
I could see that. That's possible.
well, he definitely would have, in the sense that whereas the left was very much about censorship now, I think he would have fought against that and got into hot water from that perspective. But I don't think he would have ever. He's not a guy that ever swung right. He was very anti-authority, anti.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very limited government was a lot of his stuff too.
Yeah, he was. He just, yeah, he didn't. He was very anti-authority in all forms, whether it was government or record labels or. So no, I don't think Zappa would have been like a left field trumper. I don't think that was his style. I think,
No, I see him as an independent, a third party type of Green Party independent.
yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, he would have been a Green Party freak, and probably would have run on a few tickets. I think if he had more time.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, political life potentially.
Hell yeah, I would be
The other
down.
parallel I get to Zappa was Rob Zombie. Big musician, avant-garde creations, and then kind of spills out into other forms of media. So I
Yeah,
thought, oh, maybe there's a film in Zappa somewhere. Maybe we'd dive into that. So I got a little parallel from that.
well, he did make 200 Motels,
That's true.
and I have seen that film, and it's just as awful as he wanted it to be. It was a hard sit, man. But now that I'm happy to look back and be like, oh, he was definitely trying to upset the viewer, and I can appreciate that certainly. Um, so
Here's go ahead, finish your thought.
you're gonna say you're comparing them because Zombie branched out into kind of film post
Mhm.
music. Yeah, I don't know that Zappa ever would have branched uh out. I mean, it seemed like politics is where he was headed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I don't know if he ever could have possibly put music down long enough to have a serious political career. You know what
I
I
could
mean?
see that. Yeah, he's married to the music. Okay,
Married.
here's on to the important questions. Your favorite Zappa song.
Oh Jesus! I'm gonna do my favorite, but I'm also gonna do an honorable mention top
Okay.
five.
Yes, that is allowed.
I would say because there's a favorite song, there's like top five, there's a best album, and there's also my favorite section of music that is not located in my favorite track. You know what I mean? The defining Zappa riff.
Oh,
So
I got
favorite
that as a
song.
separate category coming up. You can
Yeah,
circle
okay,
back.
okay, okay, good. So my favorite song, all time favorite Zappa track is uh Cletus Aretus Aritis on Grand Wazoo. Did you listen to that
Ah,
one?
yeah, I listened to a lot. Yeah, it was hard to take in because there's so much
Yeah,
and they all
yeah.
sound so different.
Those albums are more dense, and I got into them later. But like Waka to Grand Wazoo. But yeah, when it's all orchestral, but he also mixes in the rock as he does later in Lather. But I don't know.
How would you describe the Zappa sound? Because it's impossible to do, but give it a shot. Everybody kind of tries in the documentary. So it's a fun thing to sort of try and do. I read it in Wikipedia, and the description is about 8 sentences long. It's
Are you talking
doo wop,
John?
progressive. I think new wave jazz was one description as well.
Yeah,
It's a long list.
I guess orchestral rock jazz fusion. That
That's
would be.
good. Fusion definitely has to be used in some regard.
Oh yeah, Fusion was his middle fucking name, and they should call him Frank Fusion. I will resurrect him
Mm,
as a
Fusion
Frank
Zappa.
and call him Frank Fusion.
He
And he
should
was
have named one of his kids Fusion because his kids are named Moon, Dweezil. What's
Zappa.
the other one?
Seriously.
And then one of the kids should have been named Fusion. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't far off. He named his kid fucking Moon Unit and Dweezil.
Moon, Dweezil. There's one more kid too. I'm leaving out, I think. But yeah,
um,
some wacky Zappa names.
yeah, yeah. And then there was the last one because I heard about Ahmet, I heard about Dweezil and Moon.
Ahmed, that's right. Ahmed Zappa's the other one.
Diva was the youngest daughter. I don't hear a lot about divas.
Diva, that's right. That's good names. Good Zappa. You know how George Foreman names all his kids George? Well, imagine the exact opposite. That would be Frank Zappa's kids.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, you are adjective. I'm gonna name my kids after different divas.
Hey, George Foreman, we're going to have another baby. Good to welcome another George into the family. It's a
Yeah,
girl, George. I don't give a shit. George.
yeah. That's a level of yeah, Zappa definitely had an ego problem, but he used it well. You know what I mean?
Good use.
He
My favorite track is Peaches and Regalia. I
that's
like
not a
it. I
at all.
like that one. It's very jazz. It has a lot of most sort of jazz elements to it. So I love that.
Yeah,
And then I found an SNL performance of him doing it online, and it's really cool. You got to check it out. He's performing on SNL. There's a guy playing a clear violin in the band, and they're all dancing. It's really cool, and it's shortened, of course. The regular track version is long. The SNL version is like 2.5
yeah.
minutes long.
Oh, I don't
But
see.
That one was my favorite. Peaches and Regalia. Favorite album cover.
Favorite album cover.
Next category. Favorite album cover. I splurged. I have two.
Yeah, I might have two as well. Cause I mean, half of them are just kind of his face and him just saying fuck it. My favorite, as far as a piece of like art, because and I didn't realize this until I saw it in a record shop and looked at it and realized how beautiful, like beautifully drawn it was Overnight Sensation. I think is has the most like variety and texture as far as an album cover. My favorite cover is Joe's Garage, just
Oh
because
yeah, I like that one. That one's weird.
just him as a dude who, yeah, he's in blackface, and there's no explanation given. But my explanation for it, and he never gave one, but I always interpreted it as because did you listen to Joe's Garage?
I listened to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beauty that I don't know if maybe it's not his masterpiece. I mean, there's masterpiece material in it. I think it's his defining record where he's pushing the music as far as he can and pushing the concepts and the lyrics and the satire as far as he can and just kind of doing his thing. Some would argue mixed results. I think it's a fairly like perfect record, but my explanation is because Joe is black. It's Ike. Ike Willis is singing as Joe. And I think Zappa was poking fun at his own ego and putting himself in blackface to be Joe on the cover, to be the visual representation of Joe. That's my explanation. I just like it because it's
I like
totally,
that.
it's just mystifying. But I guess that's where my mind goes because Joe, the character, is a black singer and he is playing Joe on the cover.
I didn't. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he goes in. He goes like a profile in blackface in that
Yeah,
album
it's
cover,
not like a
and
mocking.
it's not. It's kind of blackface, but it almost looks like he put oil on his face. It doesn't look like skin tone. It looks like there's something on him. But
Yeah,
regardless, it's an album cover that just provokes so much thought.
yeah, it's extremely mystifying. I think that's why it's my favorite. It's because there's so many concepts going into such a simple image.
I went for Lather is a
How,
favorite. I love that one. It's funny. It's almost the opposite of Joe's Garage. He's got what looks like shaving cream on
yeah,
half his face. So
oh,
I like that one. And then I love Mother Mania. Just that's the simplest one. They're all in the whole band is in the shot. They're wearing kind of 70s-ish garb. It just looks like such a throwback to a time that we're just like, people look like this? Why are they dressed like that? Why is their hair like that?
they
Why are they
still,
crouched like that? I loved Mother Mania too.
oh yeah, they look just like I feel, dude.
Right. Yeah. They look like an emotion. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah,
Next category, favorite riff.
like favorite riff.
Yeah.
So the one that hooked me where I was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like I am gonna listen to everything was Peaches and Regalia, where it breaks and goes boom, 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 but
I love that. Yeah. I love the instrumentation in that song.
yeah, I've used that like twice in movies. Um,
We'll cut that part out.
um, that's the riff where it hooked me, and I was like, this guy is a genius. And I had listened to that record before, and I'd listened to Joe's Garage and stuff, and it hadn't fully hit me how good the music was. I had to listen to like King Gizzard is definitely a band that makes you grow to appreciate texture because it's pretty captivating music because there's so much going on in every track. You know, are you a Gizhead? You like
No,
King
I
Gizzard?
don't know of them.
They're an Australian psych rock band that's similar to Zappa in that they're always pushing stuff and doing different genres. But they
Oh,
did
well, now you sound like my mother.
what? Pushing,
Can't get
pushing.
my mom to shut up about Gizzard.
Now I get you, Joe.
You got it. We'll
I'm
cut
gonna
that part out.
Gizzard. Um, but yeah, I guess just some time had passed and I was ready to grasp his music because I had heard Joe's Garage before and it hadn't hit me before. So I listened to Peaches and Regalia, it was perfect. I listened to Man from Utopia, loved it. Then my favorite riff is in Catholic Girls, the third track on Joe's Garage, where he just does like a sitar solo
Mm.
or
I have to
whatever.
go re-listen to that.
Yeah, you really got to cut these in to and just be like owned by Zappa,
Mm-hmm.
But I'll show you now, and you can cut it down. But it's
Yeah, give us a play. My while you type that up, my favorite riff was Stinkfoot. That song
oh
Stinkfoot.
yeah,
It's a
Stinkfoot.
weird song. There's talking, and then it kicks, and you're just locked in. You're like, all right, I'm good to go. I'm ready to roll with Stinkfoot. And he's just talking about someone who has a stinky foot.
Yeah. The music on Stinkfoot is really fucking beautiful. That whole album is pretty perfect. I hate to leave that one there. It'll pass. It'll pass.
All right, you got it queued up? All right, here we go.
Here it comes.
It's not coming through. I just see you headbanging.
God damn it. You're not hearing it?
No, I couldn't hear anything. I just saw you headbanging and playing the air guitar. Give it to me one more time. Let's try it again. Music or no music?
Give it to me one more time. Okay.
Okay, it sounds a little better.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Great rendition.
He doesn't stop.
That great Jackson.
Zappa. I think it's just, I don't know. It's some of the most beautiful music I've ever heard. And
Final category. This is a new one. This category is called Frank Zappa is a Genius category.
Yes.
Okay. What riff, song, lyric makes you think Frank Zappa is a genius?
I mean,
it can be a riff, a song, a lyric, a hairstyle.
I mean, apart from what I just showed you, it's just kind of everything. You know what I mean? It's the sheer perfection. I mean, just like Apostrophe, that album. I mean, which came out on my birthday in '74. Not my actual birthday, but the same day.
You were born in 1974?
It was not, but the March 22nd when that album came out. I don't know, just it's just kind of everything. It's just sort of everything piled on everything. I would say that the moment of like, this guy is a genius, you know what I mean, is just listening to probably Lather, that album where he's perfectly mixing like the rock and like the humor and just the beautiful orchestra. And yeah, I think that's like his masterpiece. Like that represents like everything he does sort of rolled into one. But
that's the genius moment for you.
Yeah, no, yeah. But it's just everything. It's just the quantity where every record is like perfection. Where you got Overnight Sensation, and you've got Apostrophe, and then you've got Joe's Garage and Shake Your Booty, and then yeah, I mean, it's like 10 records that I listen to like maybe every other day consistently. You know what I mean?
I went with the first minute of the song Bobby Brown Goes Down. Listen to the lyrics of that song. It is weird. It is creepy, but it sounds beautiful. It sounds doo-woppy. There's a lot going on. Your brain questions its own existence a couple of times in 1 minute when you listen to that song. It's a great song.
That does exemplify him well, because it takes his like blues, like more rhythm roots, and makes him more kind of a poppy thing. But the lyrics are so hardcore. Even by today's standards, where it's like, got a cheerleader coming to help with my paper, let her do all the work, maybe later I'll rape her.
Right. Yeah. You're listening to the lyrics and as they go by, you're like, wait, what did he say? Oh, wait. What did he say there? Wait. Well, and then you're like 3 lines behind. You're like, I got to re-listen to this.
And Bobby Brown, I think, was a congressman that he was shitting on at the time. I mean, let me look that up. And maybe cut out when I well, just play the song. You don't need me to rendition it.
I'll edit it.
Yeah. Over me. I didn't do a very good job. It's about, but yeah, but then it gets more controversial by today's standards because it holds up as pretty good satire of just that college culture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Opening,
that's my this guy might be a genius. It's the first minute of that song because
it's
you question so much in such a short amount of time while it sounds like a beautifully put together piece of music.
yeah, definitely, and it gets more hardcore. I like because he was offensive back in the day for just being crass, and now he's offensive now because he will take shots at like certain racial or orientation groups. I mean, I think all in good fun, but like especially like fuck this dyke by the name of Freddie. Um, and he sort of like pokes fun at questioning, you know, sexuality and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it never, I don't know. I don't think he was because he was absolute in his ethos, he was all about like total freedom. So I think he's just sort of poking fun at what he sees as absurdity. You know what I mean? But there are
Yeah.
moments like the song "He's So Gay," could be taken as homophobic. Jewish
Mm-hmm.
Princess, pretty hardcore. Um,
Right.
but I mean, it's all just sort of like taking the piss out of things. I don't believe that he was a hateful dude.
Yeah, I think that comes through. I think doing a little research on Zappa, you get the satire, you get the parody, you get the
Yeah.
talent, and I think you can consume it in its best way from there. But I think any good artist wants to provoke as well. So maybe
Oh,
that is the point is like, I'm going to say some crazy shit and then you can look into it after that and have an experience.
yeah, yeah. He definitely enjoyed provoking and
Mm-hmm.
definitely stole much of the time.
And had the talent to back up every little bit of it. Could play anything, could sing, could compose. Just
Yes,
such an
and
all-rounder, such a ball of talent.
such a ball. You
A
know,
ball of talent.
we're
So
we're playing catch right now with Zappa's ball of talent.
well, the documentary is out. You can watch it. I watched it on YouTube. It was easy, is a easy rental purchase,
I'll now
directed
smoke to
by
see if I
Alex
do a better
Winter.
job.
Oh, is it time? Is it time for the Jackson Banks?
Sorry, finish your spiel.
Take us out on the pipe smoking.
Okay. So now I'm comparing because Zappa was, very, hardline anti-drug, as we know. And I'm going to smoke now and see if I am more amusing when I'm on drugs and more insightful. So forgive me, Frank.
Okay, I'll outro us as you do it. The Zappa doc is out. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, Jackson Banks. And catch me and Jackson on our new NFL podcast called Helmet to Helmet.
Helmet to helmet, dome to dome, father and son,
Thanks, Jackson.
Thanks, buddy. Make sure I look good.
Wow, that is the episode. And what an episode that was. Did I tell you Jackson is wild? Did I tell you that man is wild? I think there's a little bit of Jackson in all of us, don't you think? If you were familiar with Zappa before, I think that really was well covered, the documentary. If you weren't familiar with Zappa, go check him out. It's wild. It's worth looking into. I know I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the talk too with Jackson. Guy is always just a riot. Nobody can figure that guy out. Don't even try. I'm done trying. He's unfigure-outable. Don't forget also December 19th, me performing stand-up comedy, 6 p.m. Pacific time on Zoom. That's how it happens now. That's just what it's going to be. Also, this is going to be a packed week of shows. Sunday, my show, the Sunday Night Talk with Omar Carmona, comes out. So we have that show coming up soon. Then we're going to talk with the producers of this Zoom stand-up comedy show on the December 19th as well. We're going to pick their brains and see what's up with them. Look for that show too coming up this week. Once again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for the comments. Thank you Frank Zappa. Thank you Jackson Banks. And be on the lookout for future shows. Thank you. See you soon.